The following program has been rated GE by the Kenya Film Classification Board. It is therefore suitable for general family viewing.
Hello viewer, welcome to Chungu cha Jamii. I'm your host Eunice Mugo. Today we are going to talk on the solutions and give you the solutions on why marriages are failing. Now we want to look at the solutions so that you are able to salvage our marriages, so that you are able to salvage our families. Because once a marriage has fallen apart, children are affected, parents are affected, the society is affected indirectly or directly. If you're not affected directly, then you are infected in one way or the other. Today we are going to look on the solutions to be able to have a strong marriage in our society. Send in your question, your comments across all our social media networks. That's GBS TV Africa. Our SMS line is 21144. I'm not alone on the show. I have guests who are going to help us to give you the solutions to work on our marriages. I will allow them to introduce themselves. Welcome, guests. Starting with you, madam.
Thank you very much. My name is Susan Wanjiko. I am a bishop with Jesus Grace and Glory Ministries. We are situated in Umoja. Married with 2 kids. Married to 1 man. I am the lead pastor. I am also the founder of that ministry. I am glad that I'm here today. Thank you for inviting us.
Welcome on the show. And to you, sir.
Yeah, thank you very much. My name Nelson Ochuoga. I'm a pastor with Good News Mission. Born again, also serving in Good News Mission Branch Church in Kayole. I am married with 4 children, and I'm happy and also encouraged by them.
Welcome on the show, guest. So, as promised, we talked about the problems. A lot of problems that you're having in our marriages with our current generation. But they say all is not lost and nothing good come easy. So we want to see this, the uneasy way of working into marriage, because you had mentioned in the previous episode that we should be intentional and we should work in it. That marriage is work and commitment. Now, take us through how we are supposed to work, because now I'm trying to think of it like this. We're in the digital era. Women are so much empowered. Right now, I want to put on the nails, makeup, carry my bag, go work. The required time, when I come back home, I'm exhausted, tired, and worn out. I don't want to do house chores. But yet you're telling me marriage is working.
It is. Let me begin by saying, as I said earlier, that marriage is very, very intentional.
Sure.
And I want to begin explaining from the view of the verse I was sharing before, 1 Corinthians chapter 13 from verse 4. If you look at that 4 to 7, it talks about what love is. Many times, as he said, we confuse lust with love. Love is very intentional. Love is very deliberate. Love is very patient. And when you read, it talks about it does not just think about itself. It is not rude. So intentionality here means that you also consider the other person. I talked about dispensations. In our African setting, the woman was at home taking care of the children, maybe taking care of the properties, and the man would provide. And whichever way he did it, either by having a lot of cattle, by having big pieces of land, they would provide. But we are in a dispensation where, first of all, there is no more land. Number 2, as you said, there is empowerment. But as we said, where do we learn about marriage? We have to go back to the Bible. Look at Abraham. What does it say when he married Sarah? Sarah had servants. What does it say about Isaac? When he married Rebecca, she came with her servants. So it is not that anything has changed. It's only that the dynamics of how we live and the economics of how we live.
Mm-hmm.
But the initial way of marriage is that the woman was not supposed to be laden with everything. She is a helper who was supposed to come and help with thinking and ideas, and also bring favor, because the Bible says whoever finds a good wife finds favor.
Mm-hmm.
And whoever finds a faithful husband, you know, many times people don't read that verse in Proverbs 20. Whoever finds a faithful man.
Mm-hmm.
So it was supposed to be both ways. And they were supposed to come help one another. Case in point, Proverbs 31. It talks about that woman bringing in wealth. It also talks about her sitting with her servants in the morning. So when you say about how is it working, and one of them, the woman is working, it's supposed to work because there should be complement of servants. And that is biblical. It is actually very biblical. We are living in a dispensation where even if you don't have servants, there are a lot of gadgets that can help you. There are washing machines, there are ovens, you know. There is so much that is there now that was not there before.
Sure.
So what I want to say is, as we are looking, because we are looking for solutions,
Yes.
some of the things we see as very big problems are actually not problems. It's just a view and an attitude of how we see them. A man saying, I'm from Africa, where a woman must cook for me. I am from Africa, where a woman must wash clothes for me. So it is not, it is about our attitude towards the whole issue. And let me say this, when we come into that marriage with the commitment, that also I as a wife, I understand it is not always my husband will eat food from outside or from somebody else. We talked about sacrifice. I can decide to sacrifice. And when I come and can make that meal. But look at it this way, it is sacrificed both ways. A husband would have been in his day off, and I am working, and he's in the house. Is he willing to sacrifice so that when I come home, do you understand what I'm saying? Is he willing to sacrifice? I know it is hard.
Good thing we have a man on the show.
But
who's
I'm
going
saying,
to help us.
because we are looking for solutions, and that is why I'm saying it is about the attitude of how do we come into this marriage? What attitude do we have concerning this marriage? And are we willing to unlearn some of the things that we learned so that we can learn what works for our marriage? And this is what I always say. No marriage is the same.
Sure.
It can never be the same. You cannot say, mwanaume huyu apikangi mimi sitapika. The dynamics are different in any marriage. And you are dealing with people who are very different. So your spouse may not be my spouse. What they see in me is not what they see in you.
Pastor, what is your take on that? Because maybe to echo out what she has just said right now, what you see in me, it's not what you're going to see in her. And the dynamics are different. So true. But now, here we are. We want to equate ourselves with our peers. We want to compare ourselves. And we want to be on the same level. What is the take on that from the male perspective?
God did very well in giving us the Bible. And when God gave us the Bible, everything has been stated there, how it should be done and how it should be. So the Bible talks about the world of the heart, and hearts are same. Hearts are same. The reason why hearts are same is that a heart of a human being has been made by the Creator. And that's why, for it to be governed, we need the Bible itself. Whether born again or not born again, these people should go the same therapy, the therapy of listening to the guidance written in the Bible. So does not necessarily mean somebody must be born again. But it means that that marriage that they are in, who is the author of it? Even themselves, who created them? Even though they don't trust in him. But still, in one part of their heart, they also know there is God. There is God. And even that marriage, who brought it? God. That's why these things should be taught. And it needs discipline. Without discipline, then there's no way husband and wife can live together. But when they are disciplined here means there are some lessons that they have to undergo to understand one another, to know who is my spouse, and to know the shortcomings of my spouse. Once I have known, then I go to feel that lacking part of my spouse, I feel it. And the other one also feels it. And then we complement one another and we brag or we grab shoulder to shoulder and we walk the steps of what? Of life. So without this, then it is not easy. Why? Because people think that you must be perfect. She talked of Genesis chapter 2 verse 25. When God created man, all of them were naked. They were not ashamed. Why? They were embracing one another. Receiving the way you are. I receive you. With your lackings, with your shortcomings, I receive you. She said, be naked. Communicate everything. And then the other one should do what? Receive. The world of business has captured the hearts of people, and people are now coming into marriage not to embrace, not to sacrifice, not as disciplined, but to gain. What can I gain out of this marriage? No, it's not a matter of gaining. What can I sacrifice? What can I put into this marriage? It's like you have a child. What will you gain from a child? It is you to give to a child. Same way with marriage. It is me to impart in the marriage. That which I have, to make it a beautiful marriage. So it is me to impart. It is me to give in. Then when it comes to washing utensils, very easy. Comes to washing clothes, enjoyable. Mopping the house, enjoyable. Why? Because I am serving in the world of my marriage. I am enjoying it. That's why when you are enjoying it, washing utensils, whether you are a man, you have beards up to here, you will still wash. No problem. Clothes, very easy. Mopping the house, my house, with my wife. What's the problem? Problem is when there is that ego, and the ego is from the devil. It's not godly. It's not godly. That's why people must break their heart. They must remove their rights. And now principles are not needed in marriage.
Wow. Another question I want to ask. What has love got to do with this? Because now we talk and we end up saying about love, saying about giving. What has love got to do with marriage not succeeding? And what has love got to do with marriage succeeding?
Well, as I said earlier, love has everything to do with it. There's a song I had, I think it is secular, that asks that same question. What has love got to do with it? It has to do with it. Everything to do with it. Because how do we learn to love? By looking at how God was able to love. So, what should be our example? What should be an example of what we love? As I said, it is very paramount, if you may allow me, to understand Corinthians. It is very, very paramount to understand that love is not the feeling. The feeling is an emotion. Same as anger, same as sadness, same as loneliness, same as happiness, same as lust. So those feelings are emotions. And when we find somebody that we like, our emotions will get the better of us because we want to stay in their company. We want to be with them. That is an emotion. But when we talk about the kind of love that makes us commit, it means, according to you, you feel that you can be able to live with this person for the rest of your life. Talking from a Christian perspective, when we go into marriage, we do not leave an exit. You know, there's what is said about exits.
Those days.
We are not supposed to make those exits.
Of those days.
Exits come only two ways: when there is abuse and when there is infidelity. So, if we talk about what is love got to do with it, it is about understanding that love is not selfish. There are two chapters that are very important here. When we talk about 1 Corinthians 13, 4-7, and also when we read 2 Timothy from chapter 2, it talks about the people who will come, people who are selfish, people who will want things to do with themselves, nothing to do with you. So what will happen is they get into marriage, but with this question: what are you as a person bringing to my table? So that is not about, it is not about us, it is about me.
Wow. So actually, I'm just hearing this from her, that in 2 Timothy there is something to do with bringing or going the Dutch of bringing 50-50 on the table. What is your take on the same? What has love got to do with this? Maybe you can give us your perspective, because like she has said of not having exits in our marriage, but rather in our grandparents' generation, once you are in marriage, you are in a marriage. There was no option for you to leave your marriage. There was no option for you to be welcomed or embraced back home and being told, oh, come back my daughter, come back my son, oh, you've had too much. Now you can find rest.
Good. Marriage is same as salvation.
Oh.
And true salvation is, once you have gotten it, it is that one. There's no other option. There's no option. But the devil has brought option in salvation. What am I saying? I'm saying, once you have united yourself with Jesus, and Jesus being the husband, and I being the wife, then I have to follow my husband. Even though sometimes my husband can lead me in paths where I have no money, even though sometimes my husband can lead me in paths where sometimes I'm very sick, even though sometimes my husband can lead me in a way that I feel I'm really awkward and everything is downcasted, but still, he is my what? My husband. That is Jesus. Same way, at one point, Jesus talked about this in Matthew 19 and said, that which has been joined, no one should come in to make asunder. Which means marriages are joined with who? They are joined with God, the author of marriage. So in simple, I want to say that marriage is salvation, and once you have gone into it, never think of divorce. And why do people think of divorce? Because they don't understand the concept of marriage. Marriage is a world where once you have decided to come together, then it is a lifetime.
Wow.
But because they have options, that's why they think even I can stop it. But people should go into it knowing that once you have gone in, you have to decide before, once you have gone into it, then it is permanent, it is forever, until grave parts the two.
Viewer, I hope you've understood that concept. It's so direct, so straight into the point that marriage is the same as salvation, and once you're in it, let the grave only be the one to separate you from your spouse. Send in your question, your comments across all our social media networks. That's GBS TV Africa. Our SMS line is 21144. We'll take a quick break.